Noticing the obvious is key, and that's on some level what this work is all about. Because when we reference the past, we are not noticing the obvious in our present environment right now. We are overlaying. If you see something or somebody that looks like something in your past and you start thinking about that thing in your past and comparing it, you're overlaying your history on the world around you. And you're looking at your history instead of what's actually around you. Noticing the obvious is not only the end result of this work, it's how we get to the end result of this work. Noticing what's really going on requires a little bit of repetition. It does. It's especially if you've trained yourself to, when you notice something in your environment, if you've trained yourself to automatically find a similar thing in your history that you can compare it to, that's comforting, right? Because it makes your world more comfortable. You're like, oh, this is just like that. Okay, I'm safe here. Or this is just like this thing that scared me. I better go somewhere else. I understand, I get that mechanism feels safe. It's a kind of safety blanket. It's just not optimum. And it's really the source of most of our problems, or those things that we perceive to be problems. When we're noticing the obvious and we train ourselves to notice the obvious, one thing that happens is our range of choices opens up. So suddenly, you get a lot more choices. This is because when we overlay or when we measure and compare our history or to our history, we're limiting our choices to what we've done in the past. So, if that job looks like a job you used to have, then you're going to say, oh, well, I've already done that, right? So you've just cut yourself off from taking that job, even though the reality might be that job is completely different than the one you used to have. But because that worker looks like this worker you used to know, or because it's the same type of business as the one you used to work at, if your mind thinks it's the same, you're just not going to go there. Or you're going to walk in with a preconceived idea of what something should be. And that always gets us into trouble. Noticing the obvious is about being here now and noticing just what is, without judging it, without labeling it as positive or negative, and noticing what is going on. When you get into a place where you're comfortable noticing what's going on, which, our bodies love repetition, and all you need to do to get comfortable is to repeat it a few times, maybe more than a few times, that comfort level expands. And then what we notice expands. And pretty soon, it's not that you're noticing the obvious, it's that you're noticing the subtle. And pretty soon you start diving into what I call intuition, which is knowing what's going on before it happens. Being able to figure out or feel what's happening before other people notice what's going on, or before it actually manifests in the physical. Energy creates the physical. If you can feel the energy of something, you can know what's going to happen. And that makes the work very entertaining for me, but also for you as a participant, because as you notice more and more and start feeling what's going on, and you start feeling what's about to go on, life becomes a little magical. And when you start interacting in that magical way, life becomes way more interesting, way more. And this is results telling the truth. Like, my goal is to get you into that magical place. So when you get to that magical place, that will be results telling the truth, right? So intuition is about knowing what's going on for real. And I'm not talking about the intuition you get because you've done something a long time, repeated it so many times that you just know how to put this box together, or whatever your job is. I'm talking about the magical intuition, where it's like the universe is delivering information to you that you should not have. That makes life fun. So that's what we're shooting for. This isn't about getting rid of the bad stuff. Like, we have to do that to find the good, but that's not what this is about. This is about reaching for the good stuff. So stick around, it's gonna get more fun. Good stuff coming.